Hi everybody, welcome back, and this has been a long time coming for this video. People have been asking for me to make a video showing how to make the actual bag for the bread, your sourdough bread or whatever kind of bread you're going to have. Let's recap a little bit. You need a cookie sheet that you don't care about doing the wax on. Then you're going to need just a simple paintbrush, nothing fancy. This is actually 100% pure bristle. Last but not least, you want to make sure that you're using 100% cotton for your fabric or a linen fabric. Nothing else, because this is what's going to absorb that wax.
Everyone, now you get me. So let's get this done. We have a high heat. We have it on steam. And we have our iron set to cotton. And we're going to get this ironed out. We have a nice piece of cotton for Tracy to use for her bag. No creases. And for all you people out there that think it's funny for a guy to iron, everybody should have one of me.
One is to have a pair of pinking shears. These are the ones that create, can you see that there? These are the ones that create like a jaggedy edge. You can see here where I need to level that line out so everything matches up. I'm going to use my pinking shears and I'm just going to follow along, cutting both pieces. You can see the jagged edges. That way it won't fray. This one will take the straight stitch that you can use a regular sewing machine, or you can do it by hand and just sew by hand a running stitch. But this is the second option from using pinking shears. I don't have to worry about pinking shears when I use a serger. We're going to start off slow. Now see the finished edge, how nice that looks. Everything's even, all the stitches are even. Now if you're doing a straight running stitch, I would go ahead and do a 1/4 inch seam allowance, and what that means is you're just basically coming in from the edge like a 1/4 inch, and that's where your straight seam is going to be. With this one I don't have to worry about it. I'm just going to match it up with this, and that is where it's going to cut off any extra that is not matching up, and it's going to even everything out. So let's go ahead and get started. Now for those beginners, make sure that when you're sewing, you always sew inside out. So the actual pattern is on the inside. You need to fold it a particular way to make that happen. So the way we're going to do it is you open it up and you're going to make a triangle and line it up. All right, so we lined it up with that seam. Now we're going to measure down. I'm going to do 2 inches, and I'm just going to mark right there. And that's where I'm going to sew right across. Now I'm going to use the serger, so it's going to finish this off. If you're using a straight stitch, then you're going to cut past. You're going to sew first a straight stitch, then you're going to use your pinking shears and you're going to cut right past the line. going to show you on the outside. I'm going to put this right side out. And see how now that creates a flat bottom. We're going to do the same thing to the other side. See there? That's the bottom. Now you don't have to do that, but I'm using loaf pans, so I like to have that. And I think this is going to give me the option that I can actually put the loaf sitting at the bottom, or I can even probably get 2 loaves in here, no problem. So I went a little bit bigger. Now, I have decided that I want to finish this top up. So I'm going to get my regular sewing machine and then do a basic running stitch. All right, now I have one of my regular sewing machines. This one actually used to be my mom's, and this is a Kenmore, and boy, the older models were all metal. This is a workhorse. That's why I keep it. Along with that, it belonged to my mom. Now what I'm going to do is, well, first thing we have to do is slide this off. Because when you're doing a border on anything, you need to make sure that you can fit it all the way around so you can keep a circular motion going. Now that we turned it back to the inside, what we'll do is we'll fold it down just like that. And then I'll just use my heat of the finger to press that. You can use your iron if you want to, but I think this is going to work well enough. Then we're going to do the other side. And then we're going to fold it one more time. Along with the other side. All right, now we're ready to sew. Now I'm using the clear foot because what I did is I took a marker and actually marked where it was a 1/4 inch in. Take your time, go slow, make sure you have it all in alignment, make sure that top thread is underneath of there. That we're at the end to match up the other, what you're going to do is go forward. You're going to press reverse and go backwards. Okay, and then you just lift up on it. Bring that up. And then I have a cutting right here. And now you're finished. All we have to do is put this right side out. And then on this one, I decided not to put a drawstring because the drawstring was not very practical. It was a struggle to go ahead until the wax eased up to get that to pull in anyhow. And then I found it was letting some air in. So I made this one. So all I'm going to do is fold it down like this, and then it's going to be sealed good. The next step is putting the wax on. Now we're going to put the bake on. We're going to put it at 200. We're going to get that preheated, and then we're going to start putting this together. I want to go ahead and start getting some of this beeswax on the top and on the inside. I'm going to open this up, and I'm going to pour some in. And then all you need to do is start moving it around and spreading it out on the inside. I'm going to put some more. And you don't want to put too much. You want to make sure that it is spread out. And then we're going to put some on top. We're going to spread this out. Make sure this is all on the inside. And then as this melts, we're going to take our brush and we're going to brush all the material and make sure the honey is covering everything. All right, now that we have that in the oven, we're going to let those little pellets melt. Once they melt, we're going to bring it out. We're going to use our brush, and then we're going to go ahead and brush it around until we get everything covered. We probably will have to add more pellets until that bag is totally coated. Now you can see how it's all melting. Okay, I turned it up to 250. Everything is melted. I took the brush on what was there. I added a few more of the pellets, and then I am going to go ahead and put that back in. All right, this whole bag is melted, so I'm going to use some tongs to help me out so that I do not burn myself. It looks good. All I have to do is let it drip. Because there's some extra, I'm going to go ahead and put this like this. And then we're going to use clips. And I am going to clip this right to this. And then we'll use this one. All right, there we go. And another bag done. All we have to do is let this cool totally, and this will be ready for your next loaf of bread. The next thing I want to mention is, with this bag, I have not had to re-wax it until just within this last month. Now, it's been probably about a year since I did that last video, and I'm going to take this, clean it all up, make sure it's fresh and dry, and then I'm going to go ahead and re-wax this bag, and this one will be ready for the next loaf as well. So I hope that this has answered all the questions for you, show you how easy it was to actually assemble the bag, and make sure that you're putting comments below. I'd love to hear from you. Any questions or comments are all welcome. So take care, and I'm going to see you on the next video.